It is comforting to know if you have an emergency and need an ambulance, one is usually minutes and not hours away. But paramedics say a growing number of people abuse this system and call for an ambulance when they have a cold, a slight fever, or don't otherwise need emergency care. 6 News reporter Callie Desimone reports Acadian ambulance operators say they're trying to manage the abusers so an ambulance is there when you need it.
Paramedics Eric Hebert and Gary McKiff take their jobs very seriously. Jobs that start early every morning before they begin responding to emergencies.
That's what we do. We're responders. When the sick and injured call, we respond.
Brandon Hebert is the operations supervisor at Acadian Ambulance in Beaumont. He says sometimes his paramedics respond to calls even when a patient's symptoms don't sound life-threatening.
The approach that we take is call. Our dispatchers are all EMD trained. They'll kind of vet the call, determine whether or not it's a licensed sirens response. They'll offer any self-help over the phone. Our paramedics, maybe a supervisor, will respond out to the scene. And, many times people don't go to the hospital, but like the old saying goes, better safe than sorry.
A headache, sore back, weakness, and indigestion may seem like minor medical concerns.
Back in my career on the ambulance, I remember one gentleman that called very frequently for relatively small things.
But Hebert knows those seemingly minor problems often mask something more serious.
And one night he called for nausea, and we arrived and having the big one. He was having a huge heart attack.
Paramedics say their patients often believe when they arrive by ambulance at the ER entrance that they'll skip triage or see a doctor sooner. Doctors say that's not always the case.
When a patient arrives at the ER by ambulance, the first thing they do, they're triaged by a nurse as to which room they're going to be placed in. And, from then on, it's assess the patient, and the doctor sees the patient and makes a disposition.
John Murray is a registered nurse at Baptist Beaumont Hospital. He says even before patients get to a hospital, they should write down all their symptoms. That can help ER staff decide how serious the problem is. Until the patient arrives, the ambulance serves as a sort of mini hospital on wheels.
Those systems are built inherently to take care of the people that are critical, your chest pains, your strokes, and things like that.
Brandon Hebert knows that many times the problems are nowhere near that serious.
We have literally had people call us because they were in town A. They call us to a residence and they want to go to town B.
But at the end of the day, paramedics and EMTs say they'll be ready to answer the call and provide the first line of medical care, whether it's over the phone,
Acadian Ambulance, do you have an emergency?
Or inside an ambulance. In Beaumont, Callie Desimone, KFDM 6 News.
The Acadian spokesman says despite the cases of ambulance abuse they see, there's still the same number of people who do not call for an ambulance when they should in fact call for one.